I got truck payments, credit cards. I'm kind of like, I don't know that I can escape here that easily. So, yeah.
And your business is
it's going well. Business and the wife and the family and all that. Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
I'm stuck, man, but I love it.
Be quiet on set.
Okay.
Chero Documentary presents Filming in Thailand, a podcast for movie lovers with exclusive stories from behind the scenes.
Rolling sound
Sound rolling.
and action.
Hi, I'm your host Stéphane Lambert, and this is a new episode of Filming in Thailand. And here we are for a new episode of Filming in Thailand. Today, our guest is exceptional. He's a film director and a producer based in Bangkok, Thailand. Coming from Fort Worth in Texas, he was a director of photography and he turned a commercial director and then made his way into line producing features and eventually directing them. Here comes Joshua Dixon. Thank you for being here with us.
Yeah, good to be here.
Filming in Thailand.
First of all, this is a very important question. Are you filming in Thailand?
Yeah, a lot.
Tell us more. What do you mean a lot?
I just about 30 minutes ago.
You started 30 minutes ago. You're a junior producer?
Yeah, I left one of our sets just a moment ago. So
Okay.
rushed over here, barely.
Because you're everything
Really
but a junior producer.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I feel that too. I do all the things, So, I've been shooting in Thailand for right around 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years.
But is it true what I just read that we, of course, picked up from the internet that you started as a DOP,
Yeah.
director of photography?
Yeah, so I was a DP in the U.S. Shot
In the US?
in the U.S. So shot 3 features there, and I was producing like small corporate type stuff over there, and then moved over here, continued to do DP work, and got into line producing really here. Yeah, heavily into line producing here. Yeah.
So you are indeed filming in Thailand as a production service company today.
Yeah.
This is your main activity?
There's a lot. so no, it's not the main. It used to be the main one. So I originally started a production service company called Wind Up Films that basically
Called?
Wind Up Films.
Wind Up Film.
Yeah, and that joined with another production service company about 6 years ago. Is when I was officially, we had joined forces. So at that point, then that's when Umbrella Films kind of came into light.
Umbrella Films. What an interesting name.
Yeah, man.
What does it mean? Where does it come from?
I don't have a good answer for that. I get this a lot, but there is no good answer. We just came up with it, and
You try to save on the name and take out some vowels?
Exactly. We took out the first letter, and that was done with the former business partner of mine. Yeah. So
Is there a meaning behind Umbrella?
no, there's not. This it's the most boring name origin.
No,
ever,
not at all.
so-
I mean, that's the point. It's
Yeah.
intriguing.
Yeah, no, it definitely is a conversation piece, and time after time, I've told myself, you know what, I'm gonna go create something, so that I
Especially in
have a
Thailand,
good
where
story.
where spelling stuff, names,
all
name of
over.
companies is always a challenge for people to get the right spelling.
Yeah.
So Umbrella, do you have problem with when you spell it, when you tell people the name of the company?
Yeah, so you say so anytime you're giving the name out, you say it's like umbrella without the U.
Filming in Thailand.
So why did you ended up in Thailand?
In Thailand or in the business?
In Thailand and in the business.
Yes.
From what I understand, you were in the business before you came to Thailand.
exactly. So the business got me
Okay.
first. It was just very natural. I'd always been drawn to creative jobs, and I'm very, very passionate about entrepreneurship as well. And so it was just kind of like the natural creation, when you put those two together. I tried to play in bands, back in the early 20s, and it's so hard to make money playing music, man. So
Because you're making money as a producer?
as a producer, you make more money. Yeah.
Wow. We have to know your secrets.
Yeah. Well,
Filming in Thailand.
so
Please share with us when you find it.
yeah. As soon as I know, man, I'll let you know. Don't worry.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So you are in the production business. You are in the movie industry. You are producing commercials, and you find yourself in Thailand.
Yeah.
Was it a big shock?
Yeah, of course it is. It's a different culture. It's exotic, compared to where I came from. I'm from
And you're coming from Texas in the US?
Fort Worth, Texas.
Fort Worth, Texas.
Where all the cowboys,
Okay.
come from. So, I'm not a cowboy by any means. So it's definitely different though, So I first got a job as a focus puller, as a camera assistant. And providing a camera that I purchased, goodness, probably 13, 14 years ago, on a job in Cambodia. And so that's how I was introduced to the region.
From Texas to Cambodia, providing a camera and the focus guy job.
Yeah, exactly. So I answered an ad online, and it was kind of like when I answered the ad, I think my parents, everyone was like, "What are you doing, Cambodia? That's a scam," or whatever it is, right? It's like the Nigerian prince, type thing. So but then they sent me a payment, and I was like, okay, this is real. And they sent me tickets, and I flew out, and I've not looked back since. And it was a lot of fun. I came to Bangkok during that time since I was in the region, and just a lot of fun, man. I remember being at Siam Paragon on the train platform.
Okay.
Seeing all the LED billboards and everything everywhere, and I was at that point, it was just kind of like this epiphany moment I had where there's a lot of advertising here, so much.
Obviously.
Yeah, so that was kind of like my moment where I realized like there's an industry here, and then I was foolish enough to like try to pursue that for 2 or 3 years until it finally kicked off. But yeah, that's the short version.
That's the short version. And you got married here?
Yeah. Meeting my wife helped me do all of that, of course. And she's Thai.
And she's Thai.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is she your business partner?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So now we understand how you moved to Thailand from this gig in Cambodia that introduced you to the region, the culture, and you found yourself moving to Thailand. It's interesting. You're not saying, "Oh, I fell in love with the place." You're saying you felt there was a very important business opportunity in advertising.
Yeah, I mean that is half of it. The other half of it is I fell in love with the idea of being out of the U.S. That was something that was really, really.
Was it your first trip outside?
No, it was my first trip to Asia, right? Which is a whole other thing, right? Because like if you go to Europe, I'd been to Italy and toured around Europe a bit and stuff like that, and that's different, but it's not a culture shock like Asia is to Westerner, and so like that was what was really exotic and like exciting for me. So whenever I came to Thailand, it was just like it was the whole thing, like there's temples, there's tuk-tuks, there's longtail boats, I smell food in the streets, the street food, and it's only 30 cents, it's like it's it was the shock and the exotic. Yeah.
And how your Texan background influence your startup in Bangkok?
How did it influence it?
Yeah, influence your work, because the Texans have this image of being strong-willed. Everything is possible. You have to go through the door. If the door does not open, it's not really the way it works in Thailand.
Oh yeah, no.
You knock at the door until it opens. Go through the door.
And sometimes it doesn't open.
And sometimes it doesn't open. And even when it's open, it's not.
Yeah, you're at the wrong door. Yeah. No, totally. It was. I mean, I've learned definitely in the last 10 years, a lot more about patience. That's been a big thing. But we have a sizable staff at our company too, and so like, there's tons of lessons that I've learned myself over the past 10 years. Just in management, so like first off, like if you're going to own a company and then manage, a large staff, like doing that where you're from and in the culture you were raised in, right? It's one thing, but then to do it here is a whole other thing.
How large is your team?
We have 40 people.
40 people on payroll.
Yeah, on payroll. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's different, man. It's different over here. It's quite a few people. But I mean, we have executives, that manage.
Sure, but you still have 40 people on payroll.
Yes,
it's big. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a
Every
quote.
month I know. I know every month, man. Yeah.
I have a quote to share with you from Jennifer Lee,
Okay.
and saying, "Don't lose faith in what you're trying to do, even though you will get pummeled emotionally left and right." And it was about the emotional resilience required in the film industry. And I guess this is specifically true in Thailand.
Yeah.
Was it difficult for you to adjust to this, I would say, this local mood where I was told once what to do when there is an emergency or something really urgent to do? And I said, if it's urgent, wait.
If it's urgent, wait. Yeah, that hits home for sure. That's it's the mindset. Yeah, that's the mindset.
Was it difficult for you to adjust? Did
Yeah.
you need to adjust?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I approach, it's also the production side of me too, right? Like, so every time you're doing a production, like you have a new production, a new client, right? You're having to, actually, if I hadn't had a production services company, I wouldn't have adjusted as fast.
Okay. In what sense?
The reason for that is because I'm constantly having to compare the contrast between my clients that are coming from the West and the locals that we're dealing with to do logistics, catering, vans, transport, all of that, right? The aligning up rental equipment, that sort of thing. So there's a very, very deep understanding that you have to have on both sides in order to make that work. And then you find that you have to use it. Then you find that you use those tools that you develop, personally in your personal life too.
Would you say that this is your added value as a foreigner in Thailand?
Totally. I mean, there's tons of bureaucracy here, right? Like, we know how to navigate it. And when you hire our production services company, we know what's realistic, and you have to trust us, right? And every single client asks tons of questions about why is it this way? Why is it this way? And, we do our best to explain, but like, we literally know, if something's going to work or not, because we've had it work or not.
Filming in Thailand.
Did you learn the executive production job somewhere from a school, from university, or
No.
this is hands-on?
Yeah, it's all on the job training for me. Starting out small and believing in yourself. My parents were very, very particular about teaching me that I could, I could do anything I put my mind to, right? Like, that was the mentality that they raised me with. And I think that's the best thing they gave me, I think, and so with that, yeah, I learned everything on the job. And one of the biggest things, owning a business that I've learned is everyone's got great ideas. Like, even, the brand new intern and stuff. Like, if you can listen to them, a lot of times they have great ideas that are better than yours. And that's the job of a director as well, so that you can create a space that people can open up about it, about what they think about, what's going on. And you know how to filter it, because obviously you can't say yes to everything, right? But you need to, as a producer or a director, you need to be able to filter it. But allowing collaboration, within your team is a massive thing. That's probably the biggest thing I've learned.
Filming in Thailand.
You started up as a director of photography. Then you moved to production.
Yeah.
Recently you moved to directing.
Yeah. Directing features.
Because you were already directing commercials.
Yeah, I've been directing commercials for 7-8 years. Yeah.
Are you acting too?
No. I mean, I don't have time, man. There's no, no.
So you're
not for me.
You're. Would you say you're a creative or you're a business person?
Both. It's a battle internally for myself every single day.
That's interesting you mentioned that, because there is really a battle in between those two sides of the industry.
I think that's what the inside of my head's like. It's a constant battle.
Okay.
Yeah. I've learned to switch hats really, really fast. But you can ask my wife when I get home at the end of the day, it's just like, I need 30 minutes just to decompress, but the thing is, I enjoy it, right? Like, not everyone has that. For my wife doesn't have that at all, so she's like very one track, one side of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very I know both of them. I operate in both sides.
I was told once that the best way to operate in Thailand is to manage a business creatively.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm trying to think how that would. I mean, you're constantly having to come up with creative solutions for your business if that's what they mean. Yeah, that makes sense.
Filming in Thailand.
What's your secret or your trick to be a creative on one side of the day and to be a business person, a producer per se, on the other side of the day?
So it wasn't. You have to. First off, you need to delegate what you're doing, right? Like you need to know if what you're working on in the moment, what side of the fence it's on, right? Fortunately, like my company's been successful to where I've got like executives or team members, right, that handle a lot of the business side of it. So I'm able to kind of like segment my day to one or the other. But it's, so I'm not working on director's treatment or like, I'm not reading the script and right. I have to shut it off, right, and do only that. And then whenever I go to doing management, I have to switch over to that fully.
What would be the best way to describe your job?
My job.
What is the job title?
It's a lot of them. That's the thing. There's a lot of them. So I'm basically the managing director, right, of the company, and then we have the film company, right, which is Peripheral Pictures. Adam, he oversees that. He's the president of that, and then Len oversees all of post-production at CMC, and then at Umbrella, Andrew, he's our head of production. He oversees all the head of production. He's my right-hand guy. He's been with me for like 6 years.
Filming in Thailand.
If you had to pick the dream team for, I don't know, an upcoming project, who would the director, the producer, or the actors or actresses be?
Yeah, so this is where like, man. So there's not there, so that's the thing is right. Like, if I'm assuming you're asking me from like a creative standpoint, because then also you have the whole side of it with the development side. You have to understand how you're going to sell the movie as well.
That's interesting because that's really where the two sides of the business are colliding.
Yeah, that's where the director's always arguing with the producer. Like the director wants something, the producer is saying, well, great, but I need to sell the movie afterwards, and they're saying, oh, I promise you it'll sell millions of dollars. And, the reality of it is like you have to first think as a producer, and try to, definitely meet yourself creatively. But yeah, that's where I'm constantly having to, there's a marriage between those two thoughts, right? Those two schools of thought. So you're constantly having to understand why you can and can't do things. One being budget, two being because, the sales company or the distributor that you're working with, right? They've only committed, either some sort of money to it or they're committing to buying it for some reason, for a specific amount. So like you still have to hit all those marks. So if you don't put a valuable actor in it, right, they're not going to pick it up or sell it, or, if you just say it out bluntly, like your movie's not going to sell if you don't have someone famous.
So what would your dream team be as a creative?
Yeah, I mean, it comes up,
or as a producer, because some people to make your money back.
Well, I would say that like a really, really large budget movie, right, where we can do whatever we want. That would be my dream.
Okay.
Because it would give me, the least amount of limits. So I mean, I would get A-list actors, and I don't know, because I also got to find the script, or we got to write the script for it. So it's kind of, it's not just hypothetical, it's like super hypothetical, but it would be, there's certain actors I love.
Okay, so let me rephrase the question.
We can do that. I can name the actors I would like to work with.
Let's go into the top 5.
Yeah.
What would be your top 5 actors or actresses?
So Seymour Philip Hoffman, right? Who's passed away, so that's not possible. Another would be, top 5. Now I'm put on.
Can be 3, 2, 1, 6.
Yeah. See, there's directors I like to work with.
Okay,
too,
so let's move to the top 5 directors.
Yeah, But see, I also want to direct too. So no, but it would be, I love Guy Ritchie.
Okay.
Guy Ritchie's amazing.
If I'm not mistaken, the Guy Ritchie directed this Chris Lowenstein film, Changeland.
No, I don't.
It was not.
No, Guy Ritchie did Revolver. He did. What's the Brad Pitt movie? He plays the Irish pikey guy in it. I forget the name.
Yes,
it escapes me.
He'll come back.
So, but he did all the last Sherlock Holmes movies, right? So he's always got like the fast motion, quick cuts. I like Edgar Wright, like Hot Fuzz and stuff like that. That's really fun. So there's a lot of directors that I really like. Fincher, I love almost anything David Fincher does. So there's a lot of key creatives I would love to work with. Greg Fraser, the DP who did Batman, his stuff's amazing. So there's a lot of people like that I would like.
Do you feel that Thailand?
So I need to do a series. Sorry.
Okay.
I need to do a series because I can switch out directors and stuff like that. There you go.
So your dream project would be a series where you can play with your dream team and move directors, actors, producers.
Yeah. Exactly.
Filming in Thailand.
Would you recommend a slate of films for people to understand what Thailand is about?
A slate of films to recommend.
Or series, yes. So if you want to understand what is to film in Thailand, watch this and this and that.
Yeah. I mean, everyone always goes back to The Hangover, right? Because you could have a night.
Hangover
like
2 that was shot in Bangkok,
Hangover 2, right? Yeah. And so you could have a night that is similar to that, not to that extreme. I think
maybe this is the good occasion to tell people that Phuket is not 3 hours away by boat.
Yeah, no, that's not a thing.
Away from
like that. There's no way that'll happen. They did that in that last Ryan Gosling movie too, right? He hopped in a tuk-tuk and said like, "All right, I'm going to Chiang Mai," and he was there in I don't know 7 hours or something, and can't even do that in a car.
I was talking to a friend in Phuket who runs a travel agency. Says, we still have people saying we would like to have dinner in Bangkok tonight and come back.
On a boat?
Oh, you cannot.
You can't even do that on flights.
Don't believe everything you see on screen.
That's funny. Wow. No, not happening.
So these films that would introduce Thailand to the audience. You see Hangover 2.
Yeah, that's for, like kind of everyone's first, entry into Thailand when you end up partying too much and, have a great time. So that kind of like is your first level or introduction. And then you kind of graduate to having a more serious life. Not sure what that would be after that. You would... I don't know that I've seen too many films about Thailand. There's the other movie, A Prayer Before Dawn, but that's a bad example. You don't want to be in that situation.
Yes,
and go to prison.
The story of a guy who come for boxing, got involved into drugs, end up in prison.
Exactly. So that's pretty bad. Our movie, Hellhounds, takes place in Thailand. But again, that's, being an assassin. You don't want to do that either. So... We need some more positive movies.
I was about to tell you, yes. But it's true.
Right, I need to watch some more positive movies. One of the two, yeah.
There are, I think, one of our previous guests was saying that so far the foreign films taking place in Thailand are always going through those cliches, prostitution, violence, mafia, etc., etc. And it might be time to generate films that are showing other sides of Thailand, because I'm sure that, you've been a long-term resident in Thailand, and you're not living through people shooting at each other on except on set. Those cliches are really on very small part of Thailand.
Right. Filming in Thailand.
You mentioned about the film you produce, direct, I think, and you created the IP, you wrote the story, Hellhound, and I think that's a great way to enter the second part of our show, Filming in Thailand. See you in a bit.
You are listening to Filming in Thailand, a podcast by Tero Documentary, with your host, Stéphane Lambert.
And here we are back for the second part of Filming in Thailand with our guest Joshua Dixon, straight from Texas in
Yeah.
the US, straight, but you've been here for a very long
Took a
time.
detour.
Detour.
Yes.
Are you thinking of going back to the US to live there?
To live, no.
Once you get
Yeah, I'm
Irish-
settled here, man. I got truck payments, credit cards. I'm kind of like, I don't know that I can escape here that easily. So, yeah.
and your business is
Yeah,
is going
and the
well.
business and the wife
Yeah,
and,
family.
and all that. Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
I'm
Actually,
stuck, man, but I love it.
you love it.
Yeah.
That's great. So, this is the second part, and in the second part, we like to go through specific anecdotes, specific stories on set, offset. But I like to talk about your film, your feature film, Hellhound, because you are moving from producing for others,
Yeah.
producing short forms, advertising mainly, to your own very own IP, Hellhound. And I'd like to know what motivated you to become a creative producer, become a director for your own stuff. What was the first step?
So you mean the first step to get there, or like why I did that originally?
Let's say, what was the first step? Because I'm sure that
Yeah.
the first step will enlighten the why.
Yeah.
Were you drunk and
No. So it was. I mean, I've been wanting to make a movie for years, years and years since I was in the U.S. Right. So, being a DP, I'd shot several movies, right, and directing was kind of like what I naturally fell into. After that, so I think I was always interested in directing. I actually kind of got bored doing DP work, and it's not to say that it's a boring job. It's just that like it didn't end up being my thing. I was halfway decent at it, and there's a lot of people that are way better than me.
okay. But was it because you were looking at being the creative mind?
Yeah, I don't know. I like telling people what to do. I guess I don't know. I mean, it's no. I just fell naturally into directing. It's kind of something I just gravitated towards, and I liked it. I liked the whole creative process, right? I liked creating this whole thing as a whole.
Okay.
Right? And so instead of just like a piece of it, and that was really what I was attracted to. And so I tried several times to get a feature off the ground, was never able to originally, or not successfully, right? And I'd had some, movies that I produced kind of like halfway on or something, like never fully produced, but I got a producer credit because I helped with a part of the movie, or helped them.
You mean movie that
Yeah,
finally
man.
reached the screen, but you were not involved 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe
for instance, do you have?
this is over 10 years ago.
Okay.
So none that I even really,
Okay, that's the past life.
no, yeah, exactly. No need
Okay.
to mention them now.
Okay.
So, I mean, not that they were bad. There were some great movies. I learned a lot, as a DP on those movies. And so I think that I had that bug, right, to produce movies. I loved it. I love cinema. There was a lot of movies that just, when you watch it, you really enjoy it. And I remember watching, music videos when I was, I don't know, probably early 20s, and be like, man, I really want to produce music videos. These look like so much fun. It's creative, and music was a big part of my life. I was trying to play in bands, and I couldn't make money at it. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I can make money at this. And, so it was something I was interested. So like, I was just kind of like constantly dabbling, and I fell into like doing corporate videos and commercials and stuff like that. And I had a plan that I want to say it was a plan to get 2 features.
It sounds like a plan, actually.
But I didn't really see the light at the end of the tunnel until about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And that was because I'd said, you know what, like, let's go ahead and build a company. Let's get it successful. And then I can use that company to kind of subsidize my first movie. And that's when I started like that was the idea I had. And I kind of lost that along the way in terms of like a goal that I was shooting for. And I turned more to entrepreneurship and really became passionate about that, and scaling the company and building a brand and that sort of thing. So that was what I really, really focused on for a long time. And then, probably 3 or 4 years ago, I really saw the opportunity. I was like, you know what, we're at a point now where I could make a movie. We can, either have enough connections or we have some of the finance ourselves. We can put it together in some sort of way. And that's when Nico and I really started talking about it. That's the other producer who is also the DP of the film and also wrote the screenplay.
Nicolas de la Ferre.
Yeah, Nico de la Ferre. Yeah, it's weird. I never say his last name like that, but he's one of my best friends. So, but Nico.
Nico.
Yeah,
let's call him Nico.
So Nico, he and I talked about it. We were trying to do like a pilot for a TV series. Never got that off the ground. We couldn't raise funds for it, which is extremely difficult because a pilot is like, let's take a bunch of money, shoot this thing that's as big as a movie, and then it might turn into a series later. Instead of let's take some money, make a movie, and we can sell it immediately, right? There's a very, very big difference between a pilot and a movie, and a lot of people don't just understand that from the beginning. So like that's really kind of where we were hitting this roadblock. And I talked to Nico about it one day, and then he came around like a few weeks after, and he's like, we should do a movie. And we're like, yeah, let's do a movie. We got the movie done, we got basically like the green light of the movie right at the end of COVID. And so that's when we made it. And so we shot it right about a year and a half ago. And then I went to AFM, goodness, 2 months after we shot it, 2 or 3 months with the trailer and like the first scene cut. And I just literally went to every single sales agent I could, until we found someone that was a really good match for us. And they helped us sell it. And it's been released in the US since then. And it's successful now. So
are you going to make money out of this film?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's unheard of. We're very fortunate with it. Yeah.
Filming in Thailand.
It means that it's possible to create an IP in Thailand that is not Thai and sell it abroad.
Yeah, totally. Definitely so. It's got a Western actor in it, right? And so we're going to Western outlets, essentially. So the distribution is Europe, US. I mean, well, it's distributed all over the world.
Because it is said that you cannot produce a foreign film. You cannot originate a foreign film in Thailand and sell it abroad. You need to either be a foreign production in Thailand, or you need to be 100% Thai IP, with a Thai director, Thai story, Thai actors. It's
we did it.
So this is not what you're doing. What you're doing is you are a Thai company. You live in Thailand. You create a story in Thailand. And is it considered to be a Thai film?
Technically, it is.
It is
because the ownership.
And you register it in Thailand.
The ownership's owned by a Thai company.
So it's a Thai film. The production,
sure,
Thailand.
It's a Thai film, but it's made by foreigners that live in Thailand.
That's extremely interesting because usually that doesn't work.
Yeah. It's very rare.
Distribution companies, broadcasters, they say, no, we want local content.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. But the whole thing is, right, like we mentioned a moment ago, like the actor you put in your movie that has the value, right, that's going to cause your distributors to look at it. And that's the whole thing, right? That was the thing that I needed to learn when I had the light bulb moment when I was like, oh, to produce films, you need to create value for the distributors. And if you don't put in a name that makes sense in terms of where they want to sell the film, right? We created an action movie. It's an action drama. And we put in an actor, his name's Luis Mandalore, and he is known very, very well in the action world, right? So so that helps sell your film. So if you don't have that, and it's just, it could be the best movie in the world, and, you might even win tons and tons of festivals, but that doesn't mean the distributor wants it because they need they need a movie that whenever someone comes at home and they turn on the TV or they look at Netflix or something, the poster, the name, they're going to watch it.
Let's watch it. Yes.
Yeah. It's going to create a monetary transaction.
So you would say that the first element to have success, to meet success, is the cast.
The cast. I mean, it's a whole chicken and egg thing, right? Which comes first? And it's a battle. That's the talent of a producer, So like if you're a very well-known and trusted producer, certain actors will go ahead and listen to your pitch or take a look at your script. Especially if you're an unknown director, you may need that producer, right? If you're a very, very well-known director, then most likely, any of the actors you ask will at least take a look at it, something like that. But so it's just kind of like this whole, like, your team, like the more credibility you have in your career, that really helps move the needle on getting things done. So it's kind of like credit, right?
Okay.
You can't buy, like in the US, like the whole thing, you can't buy a house without credit, but you can't get credit without
owning a house.
Exactly. So yeah, it's a chicken egg thing.
So the best thing would be to own a farm.
Exactly.
A farm where you raise chicken.
Exactly.
Let's go back to the movie world.
Filming in Thailand.
Thailand versus the rest of the world.
Yeah.
How does Thailand do?
Thailand is fantastic.
Everybody's saying that. Why?
Yeah. It's the cost is way better than you get abroad. We've got tax incentives now, right? So if you're bringing a film over here, you can get a tax rebate. There is lots and lots and lots of talented teams here. There's great art direction
on the technical
here.
side, you mean?
Yeah, well,
Also
production design too. Yeah, there's a lot of great guys here.
Production design.
The main thing, right, is understanding you're coming over to Thailand. You're not producing in New York or LA or whatever, right? So you need to understand that you are doing things that happen in different ways and different routes, and it's a different language, right? So like you might have, people to translate on set, and that might be frustrating to people. And so like if you can get past all of that, like you can really, really take advantage of what you get over here, and your dollar goes a whole lot further.
Do you think you could do the same in another country?
Yeah, of course you could, of course. But why not
in Asia?
It's debatable. There is, but Thailand with Bangkok is just massive. When people ask like what Bangkok's like, I say, well, you've got temples and tuk-tuks, and then you also got, 95 shopping malls that have Louis Vuitton stores in them. It's like
That's true.
Like whatever you want, Bangkok's got it. It's crazy. It's like Manhattan and
with more buildings, maybe.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. So like you see the skyline, it looks like Manhattan.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, so there's a lot of advantages here, and then it's like literally a quarter of the price of Manhattan. So like that's the other thing, right? So like people can come here to do those things that they would do elsewhere, but you're going to so it's from a producer standpoint, you save a lot of money. From a creative standpoint, it's really, really nice to be here. If you also want to do, some locations that you can't find other places, literally, it's an hour flight to Phuket, Krabi, any of that. So like there's locations, that sort of thing. So I mean, there's a lot of big advantages. So like even if the countries, are comparable, everyone wants to come to Thailand. It's a cool place to be, like when I got that job in Cambodia, I was like, sign me up, man. I want to go. It's going to be awesome.
You are listening to Filming in Thailand, a podcast by Tero Documentary, with your host, Stéphane Lambert.
And here we are back for the third part of our Filming in Thailand podcast. Today we are welcoming Joshua Dixon, who started up as the director of photography in the US and is now a full-fledged producer, director in Thailand, with a company having 40 plus people on the payroll, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And a film that you wrote, direct, and distribute?
Yeah. Well, Nico wrote it, but yeah.
Nico La de la
Yeah.
Fere?
Nico.
Okay. So there is always this question that I like to ask and look into is the fact that Thailand is this hub for foreign production to come and do their stuff, produce their film. But so far, it's been very difficult to create original IP as a foreigner in Thailand and sell it all over the world. Mm-hmm. It seems that you broke this ceiling because you created something here, shot it here, and are distributing it around. Not so many people can do it. Tom Waller can do it.
Yeah.
But beside Paul Spurrier is doing it in some way. Is it this first movie, Hellhound, the first movie of a series. Do you have the idea of developing more, selling more?
Yep.
What's the next one?
Yeah, so our development company, Peripheral, right? It's you can go to the website and you can see there's a slate of movies that we're developing.
Okay.
So we have a few others in development, and then there's a couple other movies that right now I'm actually working with the writers and some sales companies that are optioned that we're turning into movies. We're just starting the development process, so I'm starting development on my second movie right now. Yeah.
That's a good transition to talking about the way the industry is moving forward.
Yeah.
You say you have you have a company that is undertaking development of films, developing new IPs.
Yeah.
But is it necessary to have a human being developing anything today? You go to ChatGPT, you say, I would like to tell the story of this and that, and then you have a 20-page script.
So AI, you saw, was it Sora that came out this week, right? That was truly maybe the first time I've ever had it, semi-terrifying moment where I was like...
So Sora is this text-to-video engine that is not available to public so far. I don't know when it will be.
Yeah, so we've not actually seen it work, but it's... here's the thing. At the end of the day, you got to have story. And if you can't have story, then your movie is going to fall flat, right?
But look, you go to streamers, and suddenly they have a show that meets success, meet a large audience about lawyers. Yeah. And then you find yourself a year later with another 3 series with exactly the same structure, not the same cast, but the same structure, the same stories. And I would say this is creative AI. And when I say creative, I use it with, in between a quote, because I don't see anything creative about AI. But so basically, you have a computer that generates stories, a computer that put the story into motion, and then a computer that generates likes and views.
Yeah.
So basically, we don't need humans.
Right. Well, I disagree. So
please.
Yeah. So first off, because I want a job.
Yes.
No, but
it's the best reason, actually.
Yeah, of course it is. But I mean,
it's the best reason.
Yes, but I say embrace innovation, right? And the thing is that I don't think AIs are going to be there to replace everything as a whole. If we do that, then that means who's going to watch the movies? Also AI,
probably because AI will generate likes and views.
Then at that point, we got an iRobot situation on our hands, and it's dangerous. And but there's also, it goes back to the whole thing, right? If you want to sell a movie, you need the actor in it, right? Well, so maybe the AI can write your story. You got to get, there's a lot of legislation that'll have to pass.
But let's push it a bit. You say we need actors.
Yeah.
You have scanned Morgan Freeman. Yeah. Someone mentioned about Morgan Freeman being scanned.
Yes.
And you ask your AI to have Morgan Freeman playing, I don't know, your next
You still got to pay Morgan Freeman. Whether or not he shows up.
You still need to pay, yes.
Yeah. So, but if you do that, then it's still the same model in the end, right? You're still having to pay for it, and then you still have to distribute it, and you still have to make money off of it. So, of course, there will be, a few one-hit wonder guys that create an AI movie and put it on YouTube and monetize it somehow, and it makes money. But I think, at the end of the day, they always say follow the money. If no one's making money at it, at the end of the day, you still got to make money with it. So, in order to do that, the actors are not going to let their they're
not going to license their image. Yes.
Exactly. If people are just stealing it and doing that, well, then, I don't know, they're paying in crypto or something, at that point. So.
But for instance, I was impressed when I saw that you posted about your new company doing sound editing, post-production in the sound section, because for a few $100s now, you have everything available online.
Yeah.
In the sound part.
Yep.
So what's your added value? It's not a tricky question. It's really to debate about that. What's the added value of having a sound studio?
It's difficult right now, man. It's probably the least busy part of the business, to be honest. But it's at CMC, right? We named it Cut, Mix, and Color because we are trying to encompass all
post-production.
Yeah,
work.
Exactly. So we offer post and so that's really kind of where the USP for CMC is, right? Is you come there, you get serviced, and it's all under one roof. That's really what CMC is.
Filming in Thailand.
At the end, I think the right answer is not to say it's better, it's cheaper. It's a decision to make. Do you want to work with computers and do you take the human factor out?
Yeah.
Or do you want to have a human-based business or human-based story? And this is a decision we have to make.
You still have to have someone direct this stuff, right? Like the fact that AI.
I hope so.
Yeah, no, think about it, right? The whole thing is AI's been trained on what we've already created, right? So like as soon as someone comes up with a new style or a new design or a new, era of something, right? The technology has to train itself on that.
There was a time not so long ago in the US where the major studios closed down their independent production subsidiary. They all closed down. They say, it doesn't make money. We need return for our shareholders. The best way to increase return is to stop spending on this genre film independent production.
Yeah.
And then it came back because they realized that you need to find a way to nurture talent to get people to create new stuff.
Exactly.
Filming in Thailand.
What's the good way to go about AI and to save the business? Because we have to embrace the technology, as you say.
Yeah, no, right. you do. And I mean, now it just means that you can access things faster. You can perform tasks faster, right? So, I mean, there are going to be jobs that it replaces. I mean, but who's planting all their own food anymore? Like 100 years ago you did, so like it's innovation. And it's going to create new jobs. Like that's the whole other thing, right? It's the other side of the coin is you're going to have jobs that are created. They need people that work well with AI or know how to direct it. Like you're still going to have a person interface with clients.
So if you were to advise a younger guy or younger girl starting in the business, would you say, just avoid that and that type of job and concentrate here in particular?
I mean, there's obviously some that are literally we're seeing like disappearing before our eyes.
You have an example?
No, I mean, I'd have to think about it for a minute, but I mean, there is, before you could, they've got tools that are now doing spell check on your emails, like I think everyone's got the Grammarly plugged in their Gmail, so that sort of thing. So like I think proofreading is not a job anymore.
Okay.
Grammar, spelling, all that's pretty much automated. So
but in your company, are you reassigning jobs or reassigning resources into jobs and then cutting some stuff, but some positions?
No, because most of the freelance jobs most of the creative that happens in our company, a lot of that's freelance.
Okay.
Yeah. So pretty much everyone that's at our company is used in some sort of management role, right? They either manage productions themselves, they work in our accounting department, so they really focus on production management.
Filming in Thailand.
At Filming in Thailand, we have a time machine. So this time machine is going to bring you back to a place you decide and at a time in your life you decide. So where would you like us to go? And at what time of your life?
Okay. Is there
it's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Yeah. So let's say you want to go back to your student life, and you are going to be able to address yourself and give your own self at a younger age some advice, some heads up.
Okay.
So where do we go? Where do you bring us?
Yeah, when I first came to Thailand 10 years ago.
Okay, 10 years ago. Hold on.
This is the time traveling machine.
Okay, we are 10 years ago. We are in Thailand.
Okay.
And you have the opportunity to talk to yourself. Would you give yourself an advice?
Yeah.
And what would it be?
Man, I would how do I even, there's so much I would tell myself.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
Like things to avoid, things to do differently.
I've learned so many lessons since I've been here. Right? I've learned how to work within the culture here. So I think there's that, as a foreigner here, you have to learn all the little tricks, right? Like from getting a credit card to how to go home before the traffic, stuff like that. So like there's a lot of little lessons like that. But then I would also say that I went through a lot of employees until I figured out how to hire correctly. Yeah. So hiring staff, I would teach myself how to hire staff correctly and how to look.
Human interaction.
Yeah, it's human interaction. It's also qualifications, personality, right? So like I think hiring staff is a huge part of his personality.
So you would tell yourself, go on with your life the way it is, and like it's going to go well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would do that, and then I would probably list out a bunch of things to avoid.
Okay, do you have one to share with us?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it could be jump into this part of the business. Don't focus on all these other areas, right? Like, because at first, for your first 2 or 3 years, I had to find a niche of what worked here.
Okay.
Right. And so I would have, avoided all of that, right? Trying to do marketing here, right? That's so difficult. I can't believe anyone as a foreigner does marketing here. Like, the industry, like, you just don't, I don't know.
So go straight to servicing foreigners.
Exactly. Go straight to servicing foreigners. Be that bridge, learn, learn the culture as much as you can, learn the language as fast as you can. That would have been the other thing. I would have learned Thai a lot sooner than I did. That would have been one thing. And then, the other would be, man, there's a lot. I wish I could like put on the helmet and just like transfer the knowledge, like,
that would have been a shortcut, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. On how to do everything. But, I mean, 'cause I know the whole Thai tax code. I know all of that stuff, now. So it's like, that's what I would have done. I would have sit down and like, hey, here's a manual. Do this, don't do this. Hire an expensive accountant.
Okay.
Yeah. For 3 or 4 years, I tried to get by with like just medium salary people, and don't ever do that. Do not do that. Hire an expensive accountant that knows what they're doing, and it's going to save your life. Spend the extra money.
Filming in Thailand.
Do you have in mind a time where egos could have completely disrupt the production, and then you had to step in and manage it?
Yeah, totally. I mean, with myself, I've had those issues.
Your own self, you mean?
Yeah, of course. I think everybody does. Whenever you're directing and producing, and especially in the commercial industry, right? Like, you're creating something that you're trying to make, you're trying to be creative.
Okay.
Right. And the client, 9 times out of 10, doesn't care about your creative. Like, at the end of the day, they should be hiring you for that. But the start of the day, they're hiring you for that. At the end of the day, they're trying to make sure that they keep their job and they don't get fired. Right. So like, they have to make sure that
can make sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
They have to make sure they have to deliver this thing. And if it's not up to spec to what their boss wants, then your creativity goes out the door. You need to change it to make their boss happy.
So you had to how would you say?
You have to swallow your pride.
Because you need to stay within the line of
I stopped. My personal opinions went out the door on commercials like 4 years ago. And I just said, you know what? Go to the client, okay, let's do it this way. And then sometimes your commercials end up cool. And then most of the times it's like a halfway, you're like kind of proud of it. This is why I got into directing feature films, man.
That you can be your own voice, your own voice.
Like I couldn't just continue doing that, just to be honest. Like, it was just it was a heartbreak, like, you put in all your time, you spend time thinking about it, at dinner, and then, the next day it's, comes back completely different.
Filming in Thailand.
So now you're developing your own IPs through peripheral films. Are you welcoming, a pitch from writers, from directors who are looking for partners?
Yep, we are. So we have Adam. Like I said, he's the president, right? So he's
what's his Adam
Prey.
Adam Prey.
Yeah. So he's been with us about 1.5 years, and he constantly, people are sending him scripts. that are interested in.
And are you looking for something in particular?
Yeah, genre films are great.
Okay.
Genre films,
Okay.
those are great. We're looking for genre films. We're staying away from comedy and drama. So pretty much if it's not comedy or drama, send it to us. We're interested.
And you would be involved as on the finance side. You're financing the development. You're financing the film. How
It's possible. Yeah, I mean we're definitely involved in that on some of them. But really, what we're trying to do is we take a script. Someone submits a script to us, right? We have another one of our staff. His name's Pon. He does coverage on the whole script, reads it through, writes a summary of what he thinks about it, what he thinks good, bad, will it work or not. And then Adam basically kind of like goes over that and says, hey, let's look at it or not. Right. So he has a weekly meeting where he's going through all the scripts that have been submitted. Once we go through that list of scripts, the ones that made it through the end of that meeting, then we decide if we want to try to contact the filmmakers back, basically to see how we can work out a deal. And that's when you have the conversations about like, what do you got? Do you have people attached? Do you have money already?
Sure.
Where is it at? Right.
Money is the thing, because Thailand is not the right place to.
Well, that's
money.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So like, and also if they're not willing to give up the control in the areas that we think we should be involved in, then it can't work. So it's just like you submit your script, a little bit of them make it through that, and then hardly any of them make it through to the next stage where we figure out that we can partner with that person. So this is where you have to learn to lose an ego, like you were asking a moment ago, right? So like the whole partnership, right? We're going to have requirements. The person submitting the script's going to have requirements, or wants, needs, that sort of thing. So, we're always looking for that, and they're always, looking for other scripts to develop.
That's a great way to end this episode of Filming in Thailand. It's extremely positive. You're opening the doors to creating.
We're trying to bring tons of production here, man.
But before we part, I'd like to offer you an award. And here comes the award for best guest ever for this episode of Filming in Thailand. Zoe, our assistant production for this episode, is offering you this mug. It's the official mug for Filming in Thailand.
Right. Do a Vanna White real quick.
It's everything tastes fantastic in this mug. Even and don't take it personal, American coffee.
Filming in Thailand.
Joshua, it's been a thrill.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Thank you for being such a great guest and sharing so many things with us. It was very interesting, especially the part where you go into this new business of yours, developing IP and making Thailand not only a production service center, but also probably soon, let's hope, a hub for original content.
We're trying, man. We're trying.
Original foreign content.
Yep.
Made and produced and shot in Thailand.
Okay, people, fantastic. That's a wrap.
That was Filming in Thailand, an original podcast brought to you by Taro Documentary on Rudy Podcast, with your host, Stefan Lambert.
Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for our next episode of Filming in Thailand. Did you record? Because I don't see the red light. So we have to do the third part again? You have another 3 hours?
3 hours.
No, it's a joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Okay.
Got it.
That was a good practice, guys.
Thank you. I want to extend a warm thanks to Lina Shamsaina, Ayutthaya and the Terror Radio team for welcoming the show, and to Brian Markar for its continuing support. Filming in Thailand is produced by Wishtrend Thailand for podcast company with Taro Documentary and Taro Creative Lab.
Filming in Thailand.